Well, I mean, I started drinking, using drugs around 13, and my sister passed away from a drug overdose. My aunt also passed away from a heroin overdose. And I told myself, my family, that I would never, pick up pills and use, and I would never be like that. And so I seen the effects on my family, but I still kept doing it anyway. And because I idolized my brothers and sister. Like, I grew up in, a household where they, had parties a lot. My parents drank. And then my father passed away at 18 years old, and it got really bad. I was at work one day, and the supervisors pulled me aside and said, "You need to get help, or your job, you have to quit." And I knew at that point it would lead me to a lot worse things if I stayed in New Jersey and kept doing what I was doing and hurting my mother, than just say, I'm done, and, finally see that there's another way of living down here. Because I wasn't, had to go to court a few times, was in IOP back at home, and went to meetings up there, but I was 18 years old, and I didn't understand the concept of being completely sober with drinking and drugs. And so it was hard, and then I came down here a little over a year after that, and came down here at 19 years old and started my journey down here. I think the biggest thing is how people think we choose this life, that we wake up and that we want to get high or get drunk every day, and that we destroy our families, and we know it, and it's just that's what I think the biggest thing is, and that we're lazy and that we don't care at all, when it sometimes feels like the hardest thing to get out of. I guess the pain that I put my mother through, and knowing that my father and sister are in another place, and to try to get my life sober, and try to stay sober, thinking how disappointed my father and my sister would be, because I felt like they were watching down on me, that I don't want to pick up again. I don't want to hurt them. And I seen my sister go through it. I seen the whole entire thing. She was in a coma when it all happened. I was in 8th grade at the time, and I had help with my cousin being down here and knowing my family, and knowing the history, and helping me out a lot, and going to meetings and hearing inspiration of people not having to use a drug or drink again because of help with higher power, God, and through the 12 steps of AA, NA, or CA. And I just know they say all the time, wait for the miracle. I didn't want to give up, because I knew it would take me. I remember my father telling me you're gonna either wind up dead or in jail if you keep going the way that you're going. I feel like I was an actual person here instead of a client. And you see in treatment centers, and you're just another number, I feel like. And here it's I know Pablo, I know Esther, and seeing other people grow with 77, with the Initiative Project, and giving people hope, and that hard work does pay off, staying sober pays off, and just to see the care in the people, from the counselors to everybody here, that's what's different. And with my therapist, Rosa, it was just different. I had another therapist for 6 months, and it was a different type of, therapy, or how we went about it, but with Rosa, it was more nurturing and more processing, because just because I attained 6 months clean doesn't mean I have my life figured out, or I know how to still handle things. It's I'm starting to get somewhat normal, and it's now when life happens, I can process these things. And I feel more comfortable and more honest, talking about more things. Don't give up. That's my biggest thing. I look back all the time from living down here and saying I always wanted to go home. I wanted to go home when I was going to go to treatment for 30 days and go back to New Jersey, and thought everything would be fine, but this is a lifelong process, and I couldn't imagine my life today at all. I couldn't picture going back home and starting life again. This is my life today, and if I didn't hold out and like go back home, like I'd be missing out on so much. Like the pain that I went through, you know, and I still go through pain, but in different ways today. Like I can see like my struggles and how far I've come along, and I feel like people would be amazed with the results if they stick with the program and persevere through it, and to believe in like a higher power of God. Like that's like the biggest thing with me, as long as like working the 12 steps, because I don't know, it's unbelievable. Still waking up every day and seeing palm trees when I wake up, and I'm in South Florida, and to be sober at 20 years old, it's just something like unreal. And that's what, you know, the biggest thing is like, don't give up. The motivation that I've gotten and the situations I've been in, it's just helped me grow into a woman, and this is only the beginning. And at any age, you can turn your life around and get sober.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, we can help you find a way out. One of our dedicated outreach coordinators is here to guide you along the way.